Assalamu alaikum. I have created a home page for a travel-based agency, and today I'm going to convert this Figma file into the beautiful WordPress website like that. And the website will be 100% mobile responsive. And I just use only the free Hello Elementor theme and the basic Elementor and Elementor Pro plugin to create this entire website. I mean the home page. And if you want to create this website by yourself, so stay with me. Here we are in our fast and fresh dashboard, and now we have to do some basic setting and changes. So first I'm going to the post, and I'm going to delete this post. And now I'm going for the pages, and I'm deleting these pages too. And now I'm going for appearance to theme. There are few themes installed. Basically I have to remove them all, but we have to install a basic theme for Elementor, and I'm going for this Hello Elementor. I'm installing this, and let's activate this theme. And now get back to the theme again and uninstall them all. I'm uninstalling them all. Just stay with me. Okay, we have uninstalled all our unnecessary themes, and now we're going for plugins. And from here, there are a lot of plugins already installed, but at this moment I do not need them any all of them. So I'm uninstalling them all. So let's first deactivate them, and let's make them delete and hit apply. Here it is all uninstalled, and now we have to install this Elementor, and I'm clicking Elementor, and let's activate the plugin. Just skip it and escape them all. And this is the basic page of Elementor. By default it's come when you installing it, and I'm crossing this one. Let's go back to the WordPress dashboard again. Let's go back to the dashboard now, and here now we have to install our another plugin, and it's called Elementor Pro. So I am clicking the add new plugin again, and let's upload it from my device. Now from my device I'm installing the Elementor Pro, and I'm dragging and dropping it here, and let's install it. Now let's activate the plugin, and here we are installed our Elementor and Elementor Pro plugin. Don't worry, I just uploaded a backdated plugin, that's why it is showing this update. But when you purchase the license of Elementor Pro, you will have the updated version. So let's now I'm going back to my pages, and let's create some pages. I am deleting these draft pages. Now let's create add new page, and here I'm creating my home page, and let's create the full page editor. so that we can see our dashboard here and we can create new pages easily. And let's publish it and hit publish. And now I'm creating another page. Let's click add new page, and I'm then making it our package. And let's make the template to Elementor full width, and let's publish it again. And another one, we're creating a new page and it's called payment or contact page. Contact us, and let's make that default to Elementor full width, and let's publish it again. And here we can begin with these three basic pages. We will create another pages if we want later. So now if I go back to the pages again, and now if I click here, but first we have to change this, we have to make some another changes, and I'm going to the settings, and from the settings here you can see we can rename our site. I'm going to rename it from African Adventure Travel, and we can copy this one and let's paste here for Umrah. We can make it here, and if we want we can change our fav icon from here. We'll do it later. And this is our administrative URL, and here we are going to change our date format to like no, this is okay. And we can start on Monday, it is good. And let's hit save changes. And now we have to do something in permalinks. I'm clicking here, and let's make it to post name, and let's save changes again. And here we are done with our basic settings, and now I'm going to the pages, and let's click on the home page. And you can see the template is by default template. No worry about this. If I click here and let's make it full width, we can change it always from here. And now if I go here, our Figma file, we will follow this basic structure. And here you can see this is the header area. We are going to first create this header for our website, and for this I'm going for Elementor, and we have to go for templates and theme builder. This is under Elementor section. You can find templates, and let's go for theme builder. And here we have to create our header and footer first. So without Elementor Pro you will not see these options. These options are only came with Elementor Pro version. That's why I installed the Pro version previously. So if I click here the header, there are too many ready-made templates, but I'm not going to use any of them, so I'm making this cross. And here we are in our basic dashboard. So here we have to first indicate our structure. This is a left side, two elements, and here is a right side with two elements. So if I click here uh, this one, and let's click this two section column. I'm sorry, but we have to take this logo section also in our header. So what we can do, let's make it one column at once, this one like this, and I'm keeping it box here the box format is by default. And if I click here and let's go for the add elements and let's add two container here, just added on container here. But if I want to handle this easily, so I am making this, let's click here and go for user preference and let's show quick editing option. I am making this one. So if I now hover here, you can see two options is appearing here. So if I click on duplicate, it's duplicated our container in the bottom. So here we can create our structure now. So if I click on the first column and let's make it, I'm going to make it another container here. And if I duplicate this, it is came the bottom. But if I click here and let's make changes to the direction, it became horizontally. So if I click here, the inner column, and if I want to put this to one logo, I mean on icon and text, for this we have to click a widget is called list. Now list icon, if I click in here, drag and drop it in here, and you can see it's coming the vertically. And if I click here in line, it's showing that it is become horizontally. And if I delete this one, because we need two only, so if I click the first one and let's click the icon and let's make it location or map, we can select this one and let's click here insert, and now we can change this to our this text and let's here paste it. And if I click here again, let's delete this because I will show you how I deleted them. And if I go for structure, so here we can set our global color so that we can easily change our color of every elements, and also we can change our text typography. So for this if I click here, uh, let's search it for site settings. I click here, and if I click on the global color, now let's go to our Figma file, and here we have our basic color codes. So if I click on this as the primary color, let's change it to this, and if I copy the second one, and this is our secondary color. Okay, done. And if I click on the text color, we can also set a darker version of this like that. And for the accent color, we can also change this to, sometime I used the orangey one and sometime I used the blue one, dark blue. So let's select one color here. So if I click on the second color and let's make it to ancient one, and also we can create two more color. We can add here this background color, the bg color code. Let's unlink it and copy the color code, and here we can rename it to white bg, and also we can use white color too, but I am leaving this to here. And let's create another one color, and I'm creating white color, pure white, and let's save changes. And if I go back again and let's select the global font, and here at the primary color, primary font, we can use this text. This is Playfair display. I'm copying this and let's find it here. And let's don't put any text size here, and I'm saving the changes. And the secondary color, we're going to use plus Jakarta Sands. I'm copying this and let's search for plus Jakarta Sands and let's save changes. And for the text also here, we're going to select the plus Jakarta Sands, and the text size I'm going to select 16 pixel, and let's make the line height to em, and let's make it 1.4 em, and I'm saving this. And for the ancient one also we are going to use plus Jakarta Sands, and let's make it to semi bold and let's make it 16 and save this. So we're done with our typography settings, and if I go back here and let's make to the site identity, I'm going to choose a site logo. If I click here and if I go back to the logo section again, and if I download this one, export PNG, and let's make it 3x bigger, and if I upload this here and if I hit select, our icon sorry, our logo is selected, and also this one we can use our fab icon like this. Okay, and now save changes. And now I am going back again. You can see the color of the icon is changed and also the text color is also changed. So if I go back to our header again and if I click here, now let's go for the list and icon, let's make it to 14, we can make it 13, and also the text we can from the typography we can make it 13. Okay, good. So if I hit publish, sorry, we'll publish it later, and if I duplicate this one, no, not from here, sorry for that. So if I click here and go for content and let's duplicate this one, and here we can select our phone number. Okay, so if I click here, phone number, suppose 12345, and let's change the icon to call, and here we can select this one. Okay, it is done. So here if I click the little 6 dot here and go for the advanced, and let's use percentage, and if I am going to select 2% of padding everywhere, and if I click here, sorry, and now if I click here and we can use our social media icon, let's put it in here, and we can make them all circle, and let's make the column auto, and I'm making it right aligned for now. And if I go for the official color, we can make it custom, and the primary color I'm going to select the primary, and the secondary color I'm going to use the secondary. We can change it later, and if I delete this too, and let's make the settings official color to custom color. We can also change it from here, and let's change it to official. And if I click here, primary color and secondary color, sorry, it is changed. Okay, so if I make the size to 14 and the padding is 10, I mean em 1 em, or let's make it 0.5 em. And rows gap, if I click here and let's duplicate them, let's make it to Twitter or X, and let's select this one is LinkedIn. Okay, and I think we are done with this three. And now if I go for row gap, sorry, if I go for the spacing, we can make it to 8. Okay, this is good. We have to make the icons little smaller. So if I go for 10 pixel, I think it is good for now. Or you can make it 12 for now. Okay, that's good. So if I click on the 6 dot, the main, or let's select the second inner container, and if I go for background and let's select the color to the, there is a darker color, we can also make it to darker like that. If I click on the primary and if I go here, and let's change this color to little darker like that, I think this is good. And now if I go back to the icon color, let's make it to the ancient one, and the text we are going to make it white. And if I click on the color, let's make it white. Okay, this is good. And but the problem is we have to make this container full weight so that it suit our main column. For that, if I click here again and let's, we want it to be in full width also. So if I click here and let's change this padding to 0 like that, now it is full width. But what we have to do, if I click on the main container, or sorry, sub container, we can use padding like 10 pixel, sorry, 10% or 6%, and at the top and bottom we can make it 1 and 1. So this is it, it is like the here. And now if I remove the padding from here and from here, it became inline and centered align. This is a small bar at the top, and we can always change this color too. So if I click here, the primary color we can make it like the white BG, and the secondary color we can make it to the primary one. This is also good. Or for this color we can make it the secondary. Okay, I think this is little handy too. But we can always change this hover color of this button, sorry, I mean this icon. So if I click on the icon hover and if I click on the primary, and it will be changed like that. And for the secondary we can use this one. So if I hover here, the color will be changed just like that. Okay, and now we can select the column, and if I increase the top and bottom padding like that, or let's leave it to 1 pixel like the previous one. Okay, and now if I go here, where for our second section here, you can see one logo and two other elements here. So if I click here, if I select the two column here, like I take two container, let's duplicate them, and let's make the direction to horizontally, and if I click here, let's make this to 20%, and let's make this to 80%. And now if I click here at the logo, the logo is changed because I already used this is as our site logo. See, if I change the width to 50%, it is bigger. We can make it 33%. I think this is good for now. And if I click here, we have to create a menu because we did not create any menu before leaving this interface. I'm publishing this, so if I hit publish, and let's click on add condition, and it will be in the entire site, and let's save and close. Okay, so our site is live, and mean this uh, menu bar is live, but we have to style it a little more. So before doing the further changes, I'm going back to the WordPress dashboard, and here from the appearance we have to go for the menus, and I am going to create a new menu for the website. So I'm naming it main menu, and let's create the menu. Let's create again. Let's view all the pages, and here you can see there are two home, but I'm selecting them all. We will decide what we have to keep for the home. You can see this is a custom link and this is a page. So I'm taking the page and I am removing the custom page from the menu, and our packages will be the second one, and let's make save menu. Okay, now if I go to our dashboard, so if I uh, click on this one, and let's take the WordPress menu, you can see our menu is already implemented here. So if I make it to alignment to the end, and if I click here, and let's take a button here like that, and let's make this direction to horizontally, and if I select them to the end, it will be like that. Okay, so if I click here, and let's go for the typography, and it is primary selected, so if I edit them, and let's make it to 14 pixel, so if I click here, and let's make this to 16% or pixel like that, I think this is good for now. So if on the hover stage, we can change the color, we can change this color to primary one at the hover, and for the active one we can make the text color to the secondary. Okay, so let's make the normal color to this one, Let's see what's happened here. Okay, this is good. So for the pointer, if I make the pointer wide to 1 pixel, it will be thinner like that. And here the vertically horizontal padding, I'm making it to 0. And if the space between, if I increase it a little bit like 35, and now the pointer will be this height, and we want to keep the pointer for this now. And if I click here again, and let's make the gap to 0, and let's uncheck it, and let's make it 30. Sorry, not in the row. If I change it to 30, it will be a gap like that. Okay, and if I click here, and let's make it to center, it will be all aligned like that. And if I click here again, let's make it to any padding less, and let's make the padding 0, and here let's make the padding to none, and it will be like that. And if I click here the 6 dot, and if I go for layout, and let's change this to 0, it will be aligned with this top section. And if I click here, I cannot select that entire column here, the container. So for that, if I click on the structure, and now if I click on the container, it is selected the entire container. So if I increase the padding a little bit, so if I make it to percentage, and let's make it to 6% at the left and 6% at the right, and 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom, it will be like that. So if I click here again, and let's go to the background, and I'm changing the background color to white BG like that, and this is selected like here. Okay, this is good for now. So if I click here, and let's make it a little smaller, 30%, and I think this is good. And I can always put a link in this logo. So if I go for link, custom link, and I'm selecting home page, sorry, for this icon, I mean this logo, and it is linked up. And if I click on publish, it is published. And click here, we can make this to book now, and we can create a book page, book now page, and we can link it this page here. We will do it later, and I'm leaving this for now. And also if I click on the button, if I go to the style one, so what we can do, we can change this button text for now here. If I click on the typography, and we can select the primary one here like that. Okay, this is good, but we can decorate it little bit. If word is spacing, no, not the word, letter spacing, we can expand it like here. Okay, done. And we can make this button to circle one. So if I go for the border radius 25, it will be rounded corner. Also you can make it to 33 to make it more rounder. And if I make this hover color, and let's go for this button, and let's change the color to the primary, it will be changed it like that. And for the text color, we can change it to the secondary. like that. Okay, or we can keep it the white one, white PG. Okay, now we are done with this section too. Now it is time to make it responsive. So if I click on the tablet, you can see it is working perfectly, but here we can make them to end, and we have to remove the column details here like that. And if I click here the toggle, we can make it the toggle button. From the container we can make it to the right one. And now if I go here for the this one, and if I make the column height to 15, I think this is good for now. And here for the toggle we can change it uh, to, let's select something better than this old one. I can choose, okay, I'm going to choose this one for now, the 2. And let's go for the style and toggle button. I'm going to change this color to the secondary, and the background color is the background, the white, pure white. And if I make the hover color, we can make it to primary like that, and the background color we can change it to secondary, that. Okay, we can make it a little less transparent. Okay, so it will be like that. I can make it less transparency here. Okay, it is done. So I have to make it center again. So if I go for the advanced, and let's make the bottom padding a little down like that. Okay, we are done. It is centered now. Here now if I go for the mobile one, it is showing like that. We have to do some stuff here. I'm publishing these changes here. So for the first paragraph, if I click here 6 dot, and let's make them this one, let's make it to 3 and 3 everywhere. It is like that. And if I click on this container, I can make it to per sentence, and let's make it to per sentence 2. And I am going to make this icon little like that. I'm making it 5. Let's make it 6 for now. And for the icon we can make it 10, or let's make it 12, and gap is 3. Let's make this gap to 0, and I'm going to change the text color size to 12 pixel here. Okay, we're done with this one. And if I click this container, and let's make it to like 63, that's fine. And let's change the social icon too, and their spacing is bigger, and I'm making it too closer to each another. Okay, and the size is now, if I make it 10, I think this is good for now. And I'm making this to like that. Okay, you can make it 30, and we can make it 63 is not a problem. Let's keep it like that. And here our top section is done. And if I click on the second container, inside them, if I change it to 3 each side, and let's go for the first one, and let's make this to percentance, and here we can also make this to the percentance, and here we can change this to like 33, and here we can make this to 60. Okay, 60 is good, 60 is good, sorry. And if I make their alignment like that, but what we have to do, if I click here, I mean go for advanced, and the width we can make it custom, and percentance we can make it here like that. 15% is fine. Okay, and if I view this changes in a new tab, now the pages is like that. And if I make it to mobile mode like that, you can see this is showing like that, but we have to fix this one too. So if I go here and go for the layout again, and from here the full width mobile drop down, if I click on the full width, from this is content, the WordPress menu content section, we can change it to mobile drop down to full width, this one. And if I hit publish, and if I view it again, if I click here, you can see it is happening here. Okay, so we're done with our this two section for now. And if I click here again, and if I make this to center to end, it will be ending like that. Okay, we have to do something else here. So if I click on the container, and let's make it 0, it is like that. Okay, and if I click here, we can change this logo a little bit bigger. And if I click on the entire container, and let's make it to center, this is good. But we can do something with the toggle again. If I click here, and let's make them to center, I mean end to center, and let's make them to end. This is good. Okay, so this is the live changes we have done with the header. And if I go for the tab desktop mode again, here you can see at the top of this section, the top is 3, but we have to make it 1 like that. Okay, so if I click on publish and let's refresh the site, and it is selected. Okay, so we are done with our header section. So if I click on the 6 dot, I selected the entire section, and if I go for advanced, and from the motion effect we can make it sticky at top. Okay, in the 3 device it will be sticky at the top. So now the section is top like that. If I scroll the mouse wheel downer, it will be like that. Okay, and now it is time to make a little border at this bottom, or if I click here, the entire window, and if I go for style and go for the border, and if I make a box shadow, you can see a shadow will be here at the bottom, and it will be showing like this. But I want to make it little thinner, so I only going to reduce the opacity of the border shadow, and it will be like that. Okay, so what we can do, we can make the blur little darker, and we can decrease the opacity little more like that. Okay, so this is a small shadow effect is added here, and I think this is good, but let's increase it a little bit more here. Okay, this is more feasible, and now we can increase this with a little bit longer, 40%, and I think this is perfect. Okay, so let's publish this one. We're done with our header, and now it is time to make our footer. For the footer, I'm going back to the WordPress menu again, and if I hit cross here, and if I click here, let's uh, save it as a global elements button. I'm selecting this button as a global button, so I can reuse it at anywhere. And let's click here, also save this to social icon. Let's save this, and this too is globally added here. You can only select this as Elementor Pro. We will change this address later. So I'm going back to the dashboard, and if I go for the template again, and if I go for themes builder, and now we can click on the footer and click on add new to create new footer, and I'm selecting from the beginning. So here in our Figma file, you can see there is 4 columns here. We are going to take this to the 4 aparted structure here. So I am going to make it as full width, and let's make this to percentage, and let's make it 6% everywhere. And if I make the top 2 and the bottom was also 2, it will be like that. So now if I go for change, like take this color code, I am taking it, and if I go for the background, and let's drop the color here, and you can see our color is also changed. Okay, so sorry for that, we're in our header, that's why this is not making any changes. So if I click here and let's copy this and let's go for the footer and let's paste this one and we can delete it from here. Okay, so we're done with our header. We can cross it, and in the footer you can see it is in draft mode, and we can always change changes here. So for this first one, if I go for 42, or we can make it 40, and H1 we can make it 20. So in 3 they are 60%, and this is only one is 40%. So here we can again change our site logo, and we can make it left align, and we can make it 40%, or less we can make it like here 16. And here there is a paragraph and copyright section. So if I take the text editor here, uh, we can copy this text here, and if I go for paste them, and let's see that text typography here, this is 16% and plus Jakarta sans. So if I go for the text, it is selected, and if I click the color to white, okay, and here at the bottom I'm taking another icon list because we are going to make this awesome. And if I click here, if I click here too, and let's make it to current time, and let's click here and let's go for custom, and if I'm only taking Y here, that's mean the year, and go for the advance before, and I'm writing copyrighted after I'm taking by African travel. I'm taking a demo text here. So you can see in 2025 it is uh, taking the no gap, because if I click here and let's hit a space here, and it is aligned perfectly. So if I click on the icon again and let's take a copyright symbol here, and we can make it in line, so it will be like that. Okay, so here it is our text, and if I click, let's change this text color to white PG, and now we can click here and we can always change this to 0. It will be like that, but we can increase it a little bit. Suppose we can make it 10 pixel. If I click and paste it here, and if I click on add condition, enter site, okay, this is good. And if I click here, let's go back to the text and let's make the text to 14. Okay, and the icon we can make it 12. Okay, this is done. And here we can take a heading here, and if I click here we can change the typography to 20 pixel, and we can make this two quick links, and at the bottom of it if I duplicate them, and let's make it to typography to text, and let's change the text color to secondary, or let's make it to white, and let's duplicate them and duplicate them. Okay, so we can make this to home, and let's change this to privacy, contact, and let's make it to privacy. Okay, here is our 3 section added, and if I click here and let's change this to 10, and if I go for space between, it will be like that. Or if I click here to if I click here and let's make the padding at the top like that, 30 pixel, or we can make it 40, so it will be separate little bit like that. I think here it is the we can use some padding at the top of the section, not here. If I go here and let's change the 40 to 50 pixel at the top. Okay, no need for that. Let's make this one to space around, so it will be like that. Okay, so if I duplicate this and let's delete this one, and let's make it our packages, and we can change it later. Package 1, suppose this one we can make it package 2, and here we can make it package 3. And what we can do, we can use some hover color of this heading. So if I go for the style, Okay, so if I go for the last one, contact us, if I click here, let's duplicate this and delete this one, and if I click here and let's delete them all, and I am taking a paragraph here again, and I can take this one. If I click here and let's paste it in here. Okay, this is, oh sorry, this is contact us, not this one. We can select icon list again, okay, it is not taking. So what we can do, if I click here and let's select this container, you can select it in here, and you can see this is the icon, and if I drag it here a little down, and if I click the header right at the top, okay, this is done. Okay, so now what we're going to make, we're going to make it a space between, like that, or we can make it to the starter, and we can make some padding at the top, okay, this is good for now. So if I click here, first one is our address, we can select this one again, and uh, addresses, and here we can make it to call, and here we can select our email, and we are done, but we can make it little distance like this. Okay, and at the bottom we can go for the globals, and if I put it in here, and let's make them unlink for now, and if I make it to left, it will be like that. Okay, so what we can do, we can make a margin at the top like that. We can also make it little bigger, and here we are done with the section also. What we can do, we can change this text color to the white BG, so it will be visible like that, and I'm making it to contact us. And if I hit on publish, okay, it is good. And if I click here, and let's make the top to 4 pixel, and in the bottom we can also make it 4. We are done. And now if I click on publish, and let's go forward to make it responsive, and this is good here. And what we can do, we can remove the paddings from here, and also if I click here, go for layout, and let's then if I go here again, if I click on this one, there is something wrong happening here at the top one. So if I click here and the first container, if I make it 100%, and then the problem is solved. And here what we can do with the container, we can increase it a little bit, padding like that. And if I click here, we can make this padding to 2 pixel, or we can make it 3. I mean 3 is good. Okay, and if I go here the context, and if I go for the text, it is taking some style, that's why it is not coming properly. So if I click here, and now it is fine. Okay, now it is time to make the padding little bit more, like I can make it 30. And we can link this logo to site URL, custom URL, home, and let's make it to 50% wider. So we are done with our footer also, and this is beautifully responsive. So it is the two section I have built. The first one is the header and second one is the footer. Now we can play with our main pages. So for that, I'm going back to the dashboard, and here I'm going for the pages, and now I'm clicking the home page, and let's edit it with Elementor. Now we are in our home pages, but you can see the footer logo is not working properly at the um, desktop mode, so we can quickly change it from here if I click on the. But before that, we are going to put something in the main body so that we can come back to here later. And if I click on publish, and the change is saved. So if I go for the footer, and let's click on the icon and go for style, and let's make it little bigger to 50%. Okay, this is working properly at every device right now. So if I hit publish again, our footer is updated. We can always link them this button here later. So now if I click on the edit page, and now we are going to edit our pages. So I am going to delete this one, and let's go for our hero section. You can see in the hero there is two section here. So if I click here, and let's delete them. So if I click here, and let's take this two column, and now I am going to, so here I'm taking two column here. So if I click here, let's make it to full width for now, and if I click on the settings, and if I go for background, you can see there is a tiny background image there. So for that, if I click here, and if I select the image, and I selected this image, and if I go for export, and I'm exporting the image, but before exporting them, I want to decrease the images compression, Figma image compressor. I am compressing the image's size. Let's see how much it decreases the image size. It is working. So let's compress and replace. Okay, our image is compressed. So if I cross here, and if I go here again, and minusing this one, is we will copy this later, and this is in 89 pixel percent. So if I click on the image, and let's make it to JPEG, and if I download here, you can see it is Oh, it is more bigger than the previous one. So if I make it PNG and let's export again. Oh no, this become more fancy. Let's select the previous one. So if I click here and if I go for the image and let's upload image, and from here this is the first one, and let's select this one. Let's Okay, if I click here, it become darker, so no need to apply the overlay here. So I'm making it center, and adjustment is, let's take it default, no repeat, and let's make it cover. So now it is time to put some elements there. So for here, there was an overlay of this, and it was 89%, like that. So if I click here, the first one, and I'm taking two header here, and let's make changes with this one, and the text size is 16 and medium. So if I go for the typography, the text, and the color is the secondary one, and sorry, the color is the primary one, and if I go for the typography, it's 16 and semi bold, and here we can copy this text. This is 60 pixel. So if I click on the white and let's make it to 60 pixel, and 140% is the line height. So if I make it to 1.4, it will be like that. And here we have to take some paragraph here. So if I click here again, the text editor, okay, so if I make it to white and the typography is 16, and we can increase a little bit, I mean 1.6 maybe. Okay, this is good, and we have to put a button here. So what we can do, we can use our global button here like that, but I'm going to unlink it here because I want to use a border type solid, and let's make the width to 1 pixel, and let's make the color to this color, and if I go for this color we can make it none, and at the hover we can also make the color to this one, and I'm going to remove the background color so it is in the text mode like that. So if I hover here, it will be changing like that. Also I want to change the text color in the hover like that. Okay, so now we are done with the left section. Here we can put an image like that, and if I go here again, and you can see the entire two elements is an image. So if I go for export and let's make it PNG, and if I click here, let's upload the image, the images is uploading. Okay, but we have to do one more thing. You can see this is the overlapping images and it is coming right downer. We will do it soon. So if I click in the 6 dot and let's make it to percentage 6%, and you can see it is uh, appealing with the previous one. And what we can do, we can make this to 60% and we can make it to 40. And if I click here, the bottom section is uh, flat, but we can use a board shape divider at the bottom. Sorry. And if I click on the wave, it will be like that, but let's change the width a little downer. So if I make the header to that pixel, and now if I click here the image, go for advanced, and at the bottom if I click, if I go for the section, and if I use negative margin at the bottom, I'm sorry, let's make it to end like that. I think it is good. And if I take another section at the bottom, we can see it properly. So if I go for the second section, if I click here and let's take it to column 2 and let's make it 6%, I'm sorry, 6% at everywhere. And here at the left side we can take an image and let's change this image to this image. And if I click on export and PNG again, and let's drop this image here, and I'm selecting this image, and at the right hand side there is the same section here. Let's copy it and paste it in here, but the color need to be changed in the ancient one. And you know this is on 60 pixel, but this is in 45 pixels. So if I take this, let's copy this and let's paste it in here. And if I go for the typography and let's make it black and go for the typography, I'm going to make it 45. Title, and here we can copy this text paragraph and let's paste it in here. And let's change this color to the text color. And here we have to put our button again. So for this section I'm going to put the global button. Let's keep it here. Okay, this is our book now button. And now if I click here, what we can do, we can make them center aligned like that. Okay, and always we can make some 30 pixel of padding, sorry, a gap between the column and row. So here if I click on publish, and let's see this two section at, at preview mode, you can see this is working properly. But if we want, we can make down at this section a little bit down too for this. So if I click here, I'm sorry, this section, if I click the main container, and if I increase it a little bit, 10, and I think this is good. So if I hit publish, and it is automatically refreshing the page, and I think this is good enough for now. It will be our main to section here. And if I go for responsive, you can see this is also working properly, but we can remove this button here. But this is not good happening here. The image is become so smaller, so that we can increase this a little bigger. I can make it 0. No need to make this a section. And if I click here, let's change this typography a little smaller. We can make it 40. And if I hit publish, this is working properly. So here for the second section, no need for any change. But if I go for the mobile one, what we can make, we can click here, and let's make it the main container and the first container. I am selecting them, and if I go for reverse, you can see the first one is go for top, and the second section is come downer here. And if I go for bottom padding, we can increase it to on to 3 at everywhere. And for the top, we can make it to 6, and right we can make it 3, but at the bottom we have to make some spaces like that. And if I go for the shape divider, from the style at the bottom we can decrease the height like that. And now if I go for the advance again, and at the bottom you can make it like that. Okay, so we are done with our first section. Now if I go here, and let's increase it to 30, it will be like that. Okay, This is only happened in mobile responsive. I reverse the element, and if I go back, let's hit publish, and let's go back to the desktop mode. It is all working like the previous one. So we are done with two section here. We'll make it more attractive by using some animation effect, but it will be later. I am going to uh, working on the basic parts first. So here, this is another section. You can see the elements are the same like the previous one. What we can do, if I go back here and let's duplicate this section, and it is duplicated this one, and if I click here and if I reverse the column, you can see this is working properly. And you can see here there is a background uh, elements there. So if I export it as PNG, okay, it is done. So what we can do, we can make it 3x and let's export them, sorry. Okay, now if I click here and let's go for the settings and let's go for background color, sorry, image. We are going to use this one. Now select this one, and if I go for center and let's make it no repeat and let's make it cover, and it will be like that. Okay, now it is time to change this image into our next section image. In our next section, we can see that this is our images here. So if I group them all and let's export it as PNG, and I'm exporting this image. And if I go back to here again and if I click here and let's upload the new image here, and now let's select this. It is taking some time to load. Here we are. So if I hit publish and if I go back to the mobile mode again, you can see the image at top and the content and bottom. Let's uncheck this section padding, and also from this section padding I'm going to remove, but I want to keep the image at the top and this content at the bottom. So if I click here in the 6 dot and if I go for layout and let's reverse them, and here we are, our image is also reversed. And let's uncheck this padding also, here this padding also. We are done. Great. So if we want to make this title little smaller, so if I click here and let's go to the style, and from the typography we can make it 30, 30. And if I click here and let's copy this title and we can paste this title style here. Okay, and let's publish it again. And if I go back to our desktop mode here, we have to uncheck it like that, and let's uncheck this too. And from here let's uncheck this and let's uncheck that. Okay, so we are done with the two section of ours. Great. So if I hit publish again, we can go back for our next section, and in that section we can change this button color. We can unlink it to change these settings, and if I go for style and let's make it to primary, and in the hover we can make it the secondary, and our color changes. Okay, and if I go for the mobile one, and if I click on the 6 dot and go for style, and if I click here, we want little padding. Even in the desktop mode we can use some padding. So if I select unlink it, and let's at the top we can make it 10, and at the bottom we can make it 5, and here again at the top if I go here and uncheck it, and let's make it 5, I mean 10, let's make it 10, and at the bottom we can make it 5. Okay, this is good. And if I publish it again, now we are going for the next section. This is here minimum. I'm going to take it 1, and let's make this one to boxed. Okay, let's keep it box. And if I go here, let's use 6% of padding here, or we can make it full width, and let's use 6%. And now if I click here at the container, and let's check this, and I'm going to use a video at the bottom. So for that I'm going to take something from YouTube. Let me find the image, sorry, the video.
لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك.
Mobile, yes, we can also play it on mobile. Privacy mode, yes, we can make it privacy. And if I go for background overlay, and we can choose the background color here, and if I make it little density like that, and we can make it little darker so that other object will be readable like this. And if I click here, and let's go for the border, and we can use 25 pixel of border radius here. Okay, so there is nothing, but now what we can do, we will add some text and padding here like this. And if I click here, let's go for we can copy this title and copy here, and let's paste it here. And if I also copy this one, and let's paste it also in here. I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, so if I click here again and go for layout, and let's make them center align and also center justified, and if I click here again and go for the padding, and if I make it percentage and make it 15% in everywhere, so it will be like that. And if I click this title again, and let's make it to the center aligned, and let's change this color to white, and also this to height bg, and we are done with this section also. We can also play with a little bit. If I click here again, and if I go here and let's make the minimum height to, no, not that too much, we can make it 600, and it will be like that. It is very bigger. Let's reduce it a little bit. We can make it, yes, 440. I think 440 is great for the desktop devices, because it will be on full weight here. Okay, so if I hit publish again, we are done with this section also. And if I go for the mobile responsiveness, it is also working properly in the tablet, but in the tablet we can reduce this minimum height a little bit. We can make it 320 pixel of height, and in the mobile we can also control the video size here. So if I go for this section 6 dot, and let's make it to 3, and at the top we're going to use at least 10, and also at the bottom we can make it 10 too. Okay, this is good. And even here, if I click here and let's make it 5, I think this will be great for mobile device. And let's decrease the minimum height a little bit lower to that. Okay, so we are also done with this section. And if I hit publish again, we are done. Okay, so this is time to make this our packages section, and this is a little bit tricky. We are going to use a grid for that. So for creating this section, I'm clicking on a one column section, and now if I make it full width, and let's use the padding a little bit, 6 pixel, so I mean 6%. And for first time we have to create a grid here, and there will be 3 grid and on row. And if I click on the first one, I have to put a container into it. Here is our container, the basic container, and inside this container we have to put multiple container, because we are going to make this a structure. Let's see a little bit. This is a structure, I mean a container, and inside this there are another container, or there will be 2 container basically, maybe. And here this is, those are another container, and these are another container, or you can make it. So for the first time, this is our base container, and now if I click here and put another container inside this, and if I click here, and for this time we have to download this image. So if I export the image as JPG, okay, now if I go here and let's go for the background, if I click here and let's upload this image. Now let's select this image. Okay, this is in our background, and if I click here, position to make it center, and adjustment by default no repeat, and display size cover, here it is. And if I go for the layout again, and let's make a minimum height of 120, we can make it 160 pixel up minimum height. We can we can make it little bigger. We can make it 200 pixel of minimum height this time. Okay, this is good. And now if I click here, let's make this to from the style and border, we can make something padding like 8 pixel of corner radius. So I make it 8 pixel, so there will be a corner at both sides. And now inside this we have to put another container like that. I already put it a container, and if I click here, let's make this background color to that color. If I copy this code and FF 95%, if I choose the white, and let's make it little lower transparent, and here we have our issue. And if I click this one, and it will be a little tricky. This is the first container, or you can choose the structure here. Here it is. You can see this is the grid basically, and this is the first container. This is the parent container inside this grid, and here this is the container. I am using the canvas picture here, and here is our white background image. So if I click this container, and if I go for advanced and let's uncheck it, it will fit this container inside it. And if I click on here again, and let's go for the layout, and from here we have to make it end, and we have to make it end here too. So if I click on this container again, and let's go for the layout, and from the width it's in 100%. If I decrease it a little bit, and let's make it 50%. I think 50 will not work properly. Let's make it 65 maybe. Okay, I think this is good. And now if I click here, and let's take a heading here, and if I duplicate this one, first one we have to make it suppose full Ramadan. If I click here, okay, and if I click here too, this is the second one. If I paste the numbers here, and here what we can do, we can take another container inside of it. I will show you why I did it, because if I take this to here, and this container we can make it horizontally, and if I duplicate this one, and if I write it to cat like that, okay, and if I click here, let's make it to text, and let's make the changes to black, or here this is the black one, and here is 14 pixel. We can always change this, and here this one, I think we have to make the typography to secondary, and let's make this a little bold like 60, no, 80 pixel will be fine maybe. Okay, so if I click here again this container, and let's go for to make it center align, and let's make it to 2 pixel, it will be like that. And if I click here again, and let's make it to end, it will be at the end number. So for this one, what we can do, if I click here, and let's make the color to that, I think this is good for now. What we can do, we can decrease this text size into a little bit. So if I make 30, or we can make it 20, I think it will be good. And if I go and check it to 2 pixel again, and let's make all the container at center. I think it will be good. Or we can make it to right align like that. Okay, for this we can stay with this settings, but if I click here again and let's go for style, and for the border we can make something at the bottom. We can add 7 pixel of border here. We cannot see anything changes because we have to put a solid border at the bottom. We can make it 2 pixel like that, and let's make the color to the secondary like that. So we are done with this one, but the first one's color is the orange one, uh, or the yellow, you can say anything. Okay, we're done with the base section, and now if I click this container again, this is not the parent, this is the parent container, and here we have to create this section right now. So if I click, if I take a heading again like that, and after that we have to take some the list here. So if I search for list and if I click here, it will become automatically, or you can drag and drop it in here. So here what we have to do, uh, there are two type of list here. So what we can do, we can make it to inline, and if I delete this one like that, and if I duplicate this is again, it will be like that. And this is a tricky one. We can take two at the moment, but there is another option. You can also take some column here, and if I see it in mobile, and it will be the same, no problem with it. And here we can copy the text. Suppose if I write this to here, and let's make this to a better one. If I click this checkbox, and I am going to change it to this, let's duplicate this one, and let's see it here. It will be working properly, no problem with that. And if I delete this one and let's duplicate this one, it will be fine like that. Okay, so but we want to reduce the gap here. So for that, if I click the parent one and let's make it to 10. Also we can make it to 0. Okay, this is 0 for now, and if I make it to 4 for now, I think this is good enough. But here we have to use some margin at the top. 15 pixel maybe is fine. Okay, at the bottom also we can use 15 here. Okay, so if I go here for this background color, we can use it, and if I click the entire one, and if I go for style, and let's change this color code to that one, there is a background color is been used here. So if I, but there is a problem. You can see if I click paste the color in this parent container, it will be showing here also. But if I go here again and let's remove the color, and if I click on this container, no, not this container, and if I go for, I'm sorry, not this one, and if I, okay, we have to put the color here, we don't have, and if I go back here and let's uncheck the padding here, and from the second on, if I click padding at the left side, no, this is not good idea. What we have to do, we can use padding here. So here I'm going to use padding of 10 pixel at the left and 10 at the right. Also here we can use 10 pixel at left and 10 at right. And if I duplicate this, and let's duplicate here, and it will be like that. And if I click here, copy this text, and let's paste it in here, and if I copy 18 and bold typography to text, and let's make it 18, আসতেছে. So let's change this padding at the bottom. So if I click here at the parent container, and if I go for advanced, and let's use a padding at the bottom one. If I click on the bottom, oh no, sorry, not this one, this one. So if I go for bottom padding like that, we can make it 20, and I think it will be good enough. And if I click here, and let's go for the border, and let's make 8 pixel of border everywhere, it will be rounded like that. And if I click here, there is a divider, you can see, and we have to make it. And for that, we're going to click on divider, and let's drop this here, and we can make it to like 80% or 95%. We can make it, and let's make it center like that, and it is working properly. And if I change this to dash, and I think this is good enough to use it. And here we can use the orangey color here. Okay, and let's make the gap to 10 pixel, or let's make it 15. Okay, 15 is good, and let's make the weight to 2 pixel. 1.5 we can check, and this is not bad. And here we have to use another icon here. Let's drop it in here and also make it in line, and I'm going to make this to a star, and we can make it the half star here at this moment. And let's copy this 3-star hotel in Mecca, and if I duplicate this one, and if I go for that one here, and this is not working properly because the section is bigger than this width. So what we have to do, if I click here, and let's take another container here, and we're going to make this to horizontally, and if I duplicate this, and let's duplicate here, but this one we're going to make default, and let's duplicate this, and it will be like that. Okay, and now if I going for inline, not working, let's make it to that, and if I click here, and let's go for the icon position, and if I make it little upper like that, I can make it to like 12 or 11, and this is perfect. And if I delete this one right now, and let's duplicate this again, and let's change this star to the full star, and let's change this text and here, and if I click here, the text we can make it little semi bold, and let's change this color to the blackish one, and copy this style, and let's paste this style here. Okay, so we're done with our next section also, and we have to put a button here, and if I click here and go for the global, and I'm setting the global button here. Oh, no, not in there. If I click here, let's delete this one, and if I click here, the parent container, and if I click here at the button, I can change it here. So now if I go here, and let's copy and paste this style at this button. Okay, this is good. And what we have to do, we can make something like, if I make this padding to 25, let's make it to 12, and at the left we can make it 50, at the right we can make it 50, or we can make 100 and 100 like that. And here it is, we can also increase it a little bit versus 150, so that it became full width. But what we can do, no, not like that. If I make it 80 and 80, it will be fine. And then now let's make this center align, and I think this is good to go for now. And here our card is done for now, and if I click here again, and let's make the border width a little bit wider, I think this is fine for now. Okay, and if I click here now, let's change this to book now. So if I click on publish here, And if I go for the parent container again, not the grid, this one, and if I click duplicate this, I'm sorry, not in here, this one, if I duplicate this one like this, and again if I duplicate this too, our card is been made, and this is working properly. I think here what we have to do, we have to change the color, sorry, the images now. And if I go back here, this image we have to download, let's export it, and let's go here this container and go for the image, and let's upload it like that, and let's select this one. Okay, great. And if I go for here too, like that, and let's go for the style, and here we have to change this image again, and let's export this image, and let's export it in here and select, and our section is done. So I'm hitting the publish button right now, and if I select the mobile responsive now, let wait a little bit, and here it is working so good. Okay, this is great. We can change the content, another thing, at any time. What we have to do, we have to increase this width a little bit, because or you can click here from the layout, we can make it to percentage, and let's make it little smaller like that, 70%. And also from here we're going to make it to percentage, and let's make it to 70. And also here we can make it percentage and 70, and hit publish. We're done with this section right now. For the next section, we can take two column here. So I'm going back to my dashboard, oh sorry, editor mode, and if I click here, and let's take this two column structure, and let's make it percentage to 6 everywhere. And what we can do, we can make it box, no, uh, um, let's take one step here, and inside of it, if I make it full width, and inside of it I am taking one container, and here let's duplicate this container, and I'm going to, sorry, inside this container we will create two container again. And for the middle container, I'm making it to horizontal, and this is the parent container, I'm in the body, and here you can see this is full width, and I am making it 6% of padding here. And here this is our another container, and I am going to keep this background color inside of it. So I'm copying it, or if I go for a style, and let's make it the white BG, I think the color will be like that. Okay, so here at the left hand side we can put this images, and at the bottom there are two more images. So if I click here, and we have to create two more containers here, like that. And this one we can place an image, and if I go for download this image, and now I'm going to upload the image for the top column here. And at this bottom we can add two more images like this and that, and this is vertically aligned, but we can make it horizontally like that. And if I go here and let's export the image, we can make it JPEG, and also we can download this image too. And let's go for upload these two files. First one is that image, and the second one is that image. Okay, so we are done with the image, but we have to reduce this gap anyway. So if I click on this container and let's make it to 5, or if I uncheck this like that and also uncheck this padding, okay, there is less padding here. So what we can do, we can click here this one, and if I make it to 20, I think the gap is equal for each image. So we're done with here, and what we can do, we can create a gap in this container. So if I go there and let's make 5%, or we can make it 6% also, it will be like that. And we can use border radius in that uh, container. We can make it, let's check the border radius here, it is 25 pixel radius. Okay, so we are done with the border radius also. And now if I click here again and let's unlink the padding, perfect. And now this time to make this testimonial section, so if I click here and let's take this two heading, I'm pasting it in here, and also let's copy the title. I'm copying this because there is a style applied in the mobile responsive and tablet responsive, that's why I'm taking this one. And here we have to take a testimonial slider here. So for that, if I click on here and search for testimonial, we can take this testimonial carousel and let's see what is happening. And the skin, if we make it bubble, this is also good, but I think default is fine for now. And here we can make it left aligned like that, and we can control the width. Okay, let's make it 100%. Pagination dot, if we want we can turn this off, and autoplay is yes, we can make it 4000. Yes in lime loop, pause and hover, Pause on interaction, yes. Full resolution, yes. Lazy load, no need to turn this one. Okay, the arrow is on, and now if I go for slide, we can change the content from here. And also if we want, we can remove the images, but we are keeping this. I think this design is okay. So if I go for the style now, and there is a space between the element, and it was 10 by default. And if I go for the background color, this is white. We're choosing white here. I can say this is white, and if I make a border, and we can make this to 8 pixel radius here, and we can use border color this one, or we can use the border color of that, but we will reduce the opacity a little bit like that. Okay, so I think this is good enough, but we can style it more. Like if I use padding of 25 pixel, it will be a little wider, and if we want, we can use 35 pixel of padding, and let's make the white to 100% or 120. If we make it, it will be like that. Let's make it 100, and let's see the live preview. No, this is not pretty good. We have to make it 110. Okay, it's okay for now. So let's go for the style again, and if I go for the content, the gap is 30, and the text color is okay. Typography is also okay. Name color, we can make it to the secondary, and the typography we can make it primary, but we have to make this to 20 pixel. Okay, and now if I go for the title, and we can make this to primary, and let's make this to the ancient one, but we can reduce it to 14 pixel. And image, we can keep it like now. Pagination, the arrow size we can increase a little bit and use the color of that one. I think it was this color. We cannot make this arrow the outside of this box right now. We have to keep it here. Okay, we have no options to keep this arrow at the outer side for now. I'm searching the option if I can send this arrow to the outer side, but I don't think there is an option, but let's see. Okay, we can keep it like this for now. So We can also create our own carousel, but I'm leaving this one for uh, easy access. And if I click here the main box and go for the layout, and let's make it to center align like that, so it will be in center anyway. So here we are done with our next section, but let's see how it is appealing in what we can do. We can use a 30 pixel of column and row gap here, and we can change it to client testimonial. Let's change this text to testimonial and hit publish, and let's see it's in the tablet mode. It is working properly in the tablet, and in the mobile this is also working perfectly, but we have to reduce some padding here. Like if I click here and let's make it to 3, and let's make it to 3 everywhere, and if I click here also and let's make it to 3 again, and what we can do, we can make this section, and let's make the layout. What we can do, we can make this to 100%. From here I can make it full width, and also here we can make it full width. Okay, so this is okay for this one. And if I go here, I think the padding is okay here, no need for, or we can remove this padding here like that. Okay, so this is good to go right now. But here at the main section we can use some top and bottom padding little bit more, so I can go for 10 and 10 like that. Okay, so we are also in this column I am going to change this radius to 10 pixel for the mobile responsive, and our section is working properly. Okay, so if I hit publish, we are done with this section also. And if I go back to our desktop mode, there is a big gap at the top. What we can do, if I click here from the top, we can reduce this gap, and let's see what is happening right now. Okay, this is good for now. Okay, this is good. And now we are going for the next section, the contact us form section. If I click here and let's click this, here is also in the 2 column section, we can create this one. And if I click on full width and let's go for 6% everywhere, and here at the left hand side we can put on image, and we can put this to here like If I paste it in here and also copy this one, and let's paste this one here, and also we want a paragraph there, so I'm going to copy this paragraph and we can click here and let's paste it, so it will be pasted at the bottom. Okay, so we can name it to get in touch and hit publish, and here we can remove this image. And if I click on export, and let's go for PNG to JPEG, and let's export this image. And I'm going back here, and let's select the image from the download section, and let's hit select. And if I click on this tile, I was looking for overlay, but there is no overlay for the image. We can use the overlay at the background only. So if I let's go undo this one a little bit. So if I now click on this image, now let's download this image as JPEG, and I'm clicking export. And if I go here and let's click here, and I'm changing this image to that one, and now I'm going to delete this one permanently and select this one, and our images is selected here. So we are done with the left section, and at the right hand side we will add our form, and for that we need a title there and a paragraph. I'm copying this one and I'm going to paste it in here, but make it smaller. What we can do, if I click here and let's yes, this is removed, and if I click here, I'm going to change this typography to secondary, and let's make it to let's see what is the text size here. It is 25 and semi bold, so if I go for 25, and let's make it to semi bold, and let's change this color to black and fill the form. We can copy this text here, let's paste it, and now we are going to implement the form here. This is the form, and we have to design it a little bit. So first I am going to make the level off. So there are many options, so I am taking name 2. So this is the placeholder. I am writing it last name, and the first one we are going to make it first name, not in the level, in the placeholder. I'm pressing first name, last name, and here this is 100%. The column I'm making it 50, and also for the last name I am making it 50. So for this level we can make it last, and this is the name, we can make it first. Okay, and this is the email, we are going to required here, and also we can add, and this one we can make it 50. And if I duplicate this one and go here, and from this type we can make it number, and we can name this phone number. Okay, and here is the message. We can make it message, and at the bottom, and this button we can make it to 33%, and let's make it to left side. And now what we can do, let's click here and let's go for style on here, label, no need for change this. And at that field, what we can do, the text color we can make it the secondary, like that. Or here, the background color we can make it this one, and the border width we can make it to this color for now, like that. And now if I go for 3 pixel of radius, or you can make it 25, like that. If you like, you can change this radius from here, but I am going to leave it to 10 or 5 for now. Little roundy, not too much round. Okay, this is good. And what we can do, the button, we're going to make some hover color, this primary one, and this is enough. I don't need anything else here. Okay, so our form is done basically. Now we have to set it up. We can name the form our home page form, and if I go for this email, sorry, form field, this is the form field, and if I go for email, I'm going to keep a email here, and this is the subject. We can change it. Okay, all filled. What we can do, the form email, if I go for the form field, and if I click on the email and go for advanced, and let's copy this shortcut, and now I'm going back to the emails again, and here from email we can paste this code here, like that. We can send a reply to, it will be automatically taken, this one. If I hit publish, and if I refresh it again, and let's go a little bit down to the form section. If I now click here, and if I go for the email again, you can see this field is automatically filled. We can also send some CC and BCC email here. So if somebody put fill the form and send it to you, you will have this notification to your this email, whatever you will put in here. Or my recommendation is you to first create a webmail and put this webmail here, and use SMTP plugin to configure this email, because sometimes in the local Gmail, uh, you cannot get the notification from your website form. So there is a tutorial on how you can set up SMTP in your website. So you can watch the tutorial. So this is the credit. I am going to delete it because it will show by default the Elementor credit here in your uh, email. I'm going to remove this, and if I hit publish, and let's see it in tablet mode, it is working properly. But if I click here and let's make this one to the center align, it is centered, but here we can make it center again, and also here we can make it center like that. Okay, so if I click here again and let's remove the gap to 20. So here we can unlink this padding here, also this padding from here, and now if I click on this we can make it 30 for now. And here we have to do something with this button also, and let's unlink it and let's make it to 30. Okay, and if I go for the button, let's go for the style and go for button. If I go for the radius to 25, I'm sorry, 25, and this is, if I go for the field, we can make the row gap a little bit more, like 30, and also here we can make it 30, and our form is good right now. So if I go here again, let's make this gap to 20 and 20, or let's make it to 15 by 15. And in the mobile mode, okay, this is perfectly okay for now. We're going to click here and let's make it to 3, and at the top we can make it 10, and bottom we can make it 10. So we're done with this font section 2. So here we are. If I hit publish now, we are done with our home page for now. So if I click here to see the entire website, let's see what happened here. This is our totally created home page, and now what we can do, we can use some transition effect to make it more attractive. So I am going to start from the home page. So if I click here and this one, we're going to use the transition effect here, like if I go for the advanced one and go for motion effect, and here we can use entrance animation, and if I go for fade in, it will be like that. So what we can do, we can make it like bouncing. No, this is not good for this website. And if I go for bounce, we can sense anything we like to here. So I'm going to use the zoom in effect, or let's make it fade in down. And also we're going to use this, the fade in down, but we are going to make this speed to 1200 because this is by default 1000 and this is 1200. And also I'm going to use here in advance, we're going to use the motion effect and entrance animation to fade in down, and let's make it to 1400. And here we can use the motion effect from default to, we can make it zoom in, and we can make it 1000, 12, 14, 16. And here uh, this section, this image, we can also use some motion effect, like if I go for fading down, it will be like that. And I'm going to make it 1300, and if I hit publish and if I go here, you can see this is happening like that. Cool. But we can sense this button animation a little bit downer. So if I go for 13, it will be like that. And what we can do, we can use little padding at this bottom of this, and if I click here again, and hit publish, and let's see again here, it is refreshing, and here it is. Okay, we're done with this section. And like this, we can use the transition effect with all section and elements. And I hope you find this video well, and how you can create your own homepage or a complete website using the Elementor and Elementor Pro only. So thanks for staying with me.